Cat, and I think the appropriate time has finally come to do a post-mortem on the Minecraft Live mob vote. Also, the Minecraft Deluxe Edition was just announced, and I figured we'd talk about that on today's Deep in the Mine podcast. This is a Minecraft podcast, which I think is important to do a deep dive into certain Minecraft topics, and one of those has to be the Minecraft Live mob vote. By the way, you can listen to it on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube with the VODs, because now is the Christmas season. It's when people take a break. Even Minecraft developers are taking a break from their game. They're getting their Christmas breaks in, and they're going to be using this time hopefully to reflect on how they can make 2023 a better year for Minecraft updates, a better year for the underlying architecture and all the things they're doing, but hopefully they can also think about how the mob vote is, potentially something they could do better next year. This is what everyone is doing. You use your time off to reflect what you're going to do in the next year, and one of the big events the community loves is the mob vote. I mean, how could you not? In a world where we're increasingly feeling powerless, how could you not love the idea of this is a thing that you can directly impact in a game that you love? Minecraft could in the next update remove something you absolutely love. Do you like trading with villagers? They could just remove the mechanic and redo it entirely. They could take away the elytra, or they could decide that a rare resource that you've spent hours collecting is actually really easily obtainable now. This is something that happens all the time in Minecraft, and it's fine. It leads to the betterment of the game, but it also can make people feel powerless unless they get to decide as a collective something that comes to the game. And so in the last 3 years, we've had 3 mob votes I wanted to kind of dissect, because although there were biome votes before that, and there was a mob vote before that, I think the 3 mob votes are the most interesting to look at. And so we're going to look at the glow squid a little bit, we're going to look at the 2021 mob vote, and then we're going to look at the 2022 mob vote, and we're going to kind of like go through them all individually and talk about how there are clear lessons that we can learn for a 2023 mob vote. Because long story short, there are really, really good elements. This is one of the hypest bits of the year, but there's some areas where it just falls short, and I'm not sure if people are spotting that and they're just not able to put it into place, and they're maybe making a mistake they're spotting, or if they don't even know there is a mistake, in which case I'd like to make this to kind of like let it be known what I think is going wrong with the big Minecraft democratic event of the year, because it's democracy. Therefore, that means that everyone gets to decide all the time, and I want no democracy. But more seriously, let's talk about the mob vote from 2020. This is the biggest and maybe the most controversial one, right? Because there were 3 separate mobs up for vote. The Moo Bloom was one of them, a cow which had flower powers and was from another Minecraft game. There was the Isolager, which would be a hostile mob found in the mountains. This one seemed like a surefire win because it was a mountain update they announced as they were doing this mob vote, so everyone assumed it would win. But then there was the glow squid, which is, oh yeah, it's a squid, but it glows. And the problem with this vote is they made the clear mistake of having 1 hostile and 2 non-hostile mobs. And I think, honestly, a hostile mob has as much game design balance as a normal one, but a lot of what makes a regular mob exciting is just it exists and it's cute, and maybe it does something for me. I mean, the fox really doesn't do anything for you, but it's cute enough for a fair number of people to think it's great to exist. Whereas, like if you take a look at the creeper, if the creeper didn't drop gunpowder, people would just hate it and there would be no benefit. You'd be annoyed at its very existence. I think at least that's how many people do feel. And so, if you take a look at these mobs, you can see that there's a bit of an imbalance between the Moo Bloom is just, it's a cow and it makes funny things, and the Isolager is, it's just something which does harm to you, whereas the glow squid was, oh yeah, it glows and maybe that glowing's something special. It turns out the glowing was something special. You can make glow signs with it, but people are imagining like, oh, an effect that can really change everything. He could entrance you in. And so this lack of information, combined with maybe other influences in the community, led to the glow squid winning this mob vote. The same thing then happened next year with the 2021 mob vote. They announced 3 mobs and things were off to a good start. Here's a mob that avoids light. It would help with a mechanic in this update. It seemed like the surefire winner. Then there was the copper golem, and he would do random things, and honestly, the copper golem was explained fully. They clarified multiple times. That's all he does. He presses random buttons and he ages. That is 100% of the mob design, whereas the LA was he can pick up items who knows what else he can do? You know, the glare, the ally, and the copper golem were all reasonably, you know, you could argue they're all fully explained, but the copper golem was the one people felt like they got. It was worthless. The glare people felt like was probably useless, and the ally people felt like, whoa, this could do some amazing things for farms, and so they voted for it under the assumption that it could pick up and do. There were lots of theories about what it could do that were all proven wrong after it came to the game. And so that's what brings me to this year's one, because after these 2 years of having mobs, which they announced to different quality, you know, levels, like they announced very different amounts of features for all of them, we have the 2022 Minecraft Live Vote, and first of all, we got the sniffer, and okay, well, he comes with how he's got this new mechanic where he's gonna dig up plants. Well, that's fun, that's great. What about the rascal? Oh, the rascal has a new mechanic where you can play hide and seek with him, and he'll give you iron pickaxes. What else? Oh, that's a mystery, so he gives you maybe something special, maybe something not. And then there's the tough golem, which he's fully explained. He just carries things around. He's a cute item frame, but he's just a golem. Someone at Minecraft has a serious golem problem. Just make a golem update, okay? If you need to do him, if you need to add him that bad. But I think the key thing that keeps all 3 of these mob votes in the same place is that they announced an unequal amount of information, and therefore people's, if you know everything about a mob and you think it does nothing, that's boring. If you know everything about a mob and you think it does something, that's but if you know a lot about a mob and it already does a lot and there's more to come, that's where the excitement level is. I think, when you know nothing about something, you can't be excited. When you know a little about something, your interest is piqued. When you know enough about something to get really engaged, you're all the way there, and there's this like perfect spot between there and knowing everything where you go, oh my god, imagine the theories. And that is where I think that Minecraft has been failing, because for the 3rd year in a row, they announced too much, disparity between these different mobs, and it's been making me think for a while now, how can you even fix that? How can you even fix the balance of these 3 mobs? And I think the simple answer is you need to go back and you need to think about what is it that influences votes in regular elections? What is it that makes people vote for one of these things over the other? Why was the glow squid so easy to meme on, but then so popular? Why was the ally clearly the mob to vote for as far as people were concerned? And why was the same true for the sniffer? Because if your Mojang and your intention was, these are the mobs we want people to vote for, I have no clue how we'd even add an Iceologer or a Moo Bloom or a Glare. Like, what? We don't know how these ideas would work. Thank God they voted for the one we wanted. If that's your, goal as a company, good job. I think they're doing a really good job. However, if they want to actually have an interesting dialogue about what the game needs most, I think you need to go back to basics with this. So, what do I mean by that? Well, the ideal thing for an election is to have equal amount of information for each of the candidates. I mean, if you go to your local polling box, even if you don't like the 2 biggest parties in your country, they're the ones you probably know the most about, whereas the local insert blank here party, you don't know about them, and so it's very hard to decide whether you like them or not. And so, again, as Minecraft, you can say, is that a system we like? Do we like there being 2 clear choices and a weird outsider, or 1 clear choice and 2 outsiders? I would say that's probably not their goal. Their goal is to actually have this conversation in the community, because if we're being honest, the amount of hype and buzz that it generates for Minecraft is incredible by itself. Before you even think about the modding community, every single year when the 3 mob choices are announced, the modding community goes into overdrive to make their version of it as quickly as possible. You're basically running like a game jam by saying, here's our design idea, who can do it the quickest? So you get the modding community hyped in a really big way that honestly sometimes raises questions about the very development of Minecraft. But as well as getting the modding community hyped, you get the regular Minecraft community hyped, because they say, whoa, there's a new mob. Which one do we need? Which one do we want? You encourage the game community to think like a game developer. And so if you want to encourage Minecraft people to think like developers, you need to give them the information a developer has. So usually, I'm assuming most Minecraft mobs don't come about because one guy's one day like, oh yeah, it'd be cool, man. What about like frogs? Yeah, they could like jump around and then they could ribbit and they could be in the swamps. And then someone else is like, yeah, man, I'll like program that into the... That's not how Minecraft works, because it's a multi-100-person game development studio. At any one point in time, there are going to be dozens of people working on the code for the game, and it's all interlinked, and it's so complex in a way that most people could never understand. So, of course, you have to kind of like, okay, you don't just get to say, here's that, there's that. You have to instead say, okay, we are a team, like internally, how would we approach 3 different ideas? We'd give all the people we're trying to talk to all of the information as if this mob was the best mob that existed. You would give everyone all of the information that they needed to make the decisions that they wanted, right? You wouldn't say, yeah, we're just going to leave this out because we're not sure how. No. You're going to give the best case for each mob. I think this is what they could do. And I think that in reality, this is the best way to get the best discussion by. So they say the Rascal, yeah, we're thinking of giving it a brand new item that would really help with mining. The Sniffer is going to dig up some flour, which probably will be decorative, but we could give it some use in the technical community, like we did with Lush Cave blocks, like the drip leaf that goes and falls down. And the Tough Golem will be mostly decorative, but we reckon that we could do this. So that's one way they could do things. Be honest about what the we will definitely do's are, the we will probably do's, and the we might do's. If you're really honest about that, I think the community would love this frank discussion about what needs to be added to the game. So that's point 1, right? Point 1 is you could easily give all the possibilities, but I think the Minecraft community, a lot of developers are having this discussion about like, oh yeah, we can't just share everything with the community, and rightly or wrongly, people do expect when they see something, by the time it reaches your eye, it's an idea that probably should be added to the game. Even though it is no doubt true that before frogs came to Minecraft, there are 100 bad ideas for mobs, or there are 100 scrapped ideas. If you think about Netherite, they must have had so many ideas before Netherite as to a tool tier above diamonds that they scrapped and said, yeah, actually, although making emerald tools would be cool, it's not a great idea. And just because someone had an idea at some point, they don't need to do it. So having all these possibilities on the table, no, that's not going to work, obviously, as the Minecraft world goes. So instead, you need to say, how do we give a balanced amount of information about each of these mobs? And one way you could do that is you could say the exact same number of sentences. So the Sniffer is a mob that will dig up eggs. The Rascal is a mob you will play hide and seek with. The Tough Golem is a mob that will hold things for you. You can take everything down to a single sentence or 2 sentences. You can give the same number of, same amount of information and try and balance this in terms of how you think the community will react. But I think even then, you're not actually doing a fair thing. Even if you think that you're doing a balanced summary, those 3 summaries probably had one mob sounding better than the other 2. I'd probably say it's the Rascal, like, it plays hide and seek. What are the rewards? What is hide and seek? The more questions you ask, the more you give people space to answer them how they want. Like, ooh, yeah, this presidential candidate just says he's going to do things good. And let me tell you how I think things are going to be good in my mind. So obviously that's the flaw of that strategy. So I'd say instead, let's scrap all of that. Let's go a step even deeper, and let's say, what if we just, the even amount of information you could provide is none? What if we had no information about the mobs? Well then, okay, well obviously you've got to have some. What if we know what the mob looks like? They clearly put a lot of effort each year into the concept art designs for each of the 3 mobs. Someone is excited about these mobs' appearances because it never changes between the concept of between the mob vote art and the final release. They never just go, by the way, the Sniffer is blue and a dragon and it's a boss mob in the end now. That wouldn't happen. They have fixed in place the art, and they have fixed in place like the vibe of it, like the biome, the area it's going to be in. And so I think what you should say is, here is what the mob will look like. You could clarify, is it hostile? Is it passive? Because, I think it's usually you couldn't redesign a mob. Like, you couldn't make the Isolager friendly. You couldn't make the glow squid angry, a hostile mob in a very easy way. So I think that would be step 1, is you say, here's the mob, here's what it looks like, here's the the further details, and then if you really want to, you could start including the small touches, like, okay, here is the name, here is the biome that it will spawn in, and like, here are maybe the rarities of it, or here is the vague niche we could see it filling. You could give information that simple, but and then what you could say is, okay, here are 4 of these ideas, because I think you got to go back to 4 for this one, and then every time a mob is eliminated from the next remaining mobs, you give a next bit of information, because the way it works right now is one mob is clearly better than the other 2. The sniffer was never in doubt that it was going to win if you follow. Obviously, everyone said, like, well, your Twitter world might be different to the real world, but every year so far, the mob winner has been very apparent to everyone in advance. So every round needs to not just be, let's eliminate a mob, then do the next rounds. Instead, they should go for a new format where they eliminate a mob, then they go for a bit more information about them. This does two things. One, it prevents the issue where people go, oh, we still don't know about the rascal and what it would do. We're still kind of missing the Moobloom and what the Isology. There are all these like tiny features that are parts of bigger features we'll never get. And so to remove that, you don't give the information until further on. So as part 2, you could say, what item will the mob drop? What function will it behave for? So let's say it was this year and we eliminated the tough golem first. Then they could say, oh, by the way, the sniffer will dig up this flower. By the way, the rascal will have this as a trade. Or you give its entire loot table if you want to go real crazy on it, like, or ideas for a loot table, like a concept of one. And then after that, you go for the final round, and that's when you go, here is everything we know about both of them, and try and make that information balanced. And if you did it this way instead, one, you would build hype much better. Like, whoa, I didn't even, people would change their minds between rounds. Like, I was a member of Team Rascal until I saw what it dropped. Now I think I'm a sniffer guy. Or I thought the tough golem was good until I saw what the heck the rascal was picking up. Now, you would flip that way, and I think that's a way more fun way to do things personally. Like, the more information you reveal, the more intrigue you get, and also the more engagement they drive to their Minecraft live show. The Minecraft mob vote is very successful for Minecraft as a game, I'd say, but I think the way bigger thing is it draws people in to watch their yearly show where they announce a lot of things they're really excited about. We're going to talk about Minecraft and promotion and the mistakes they make, by the way. So that's a thing they could very obviously do there. Yeah, I think it's something that's important to say. Just like how it's important to say, to do a quick little sponsor gap here, it's important to say that talking about mental health is important, and that sometimes you go through bad things in life and you don't know who to talk to or where to talk about. And this podcast is actually sponsored by BetterHelp. If you use the link in the description, you will get yourself some BetterHelp. And I think the reason that therapy is so important, the reason that you should totally give it a try if you've never had it before and you need it, is because discussing things is really, really important. The number one, like, simple technique you can pick up here is, like, reframing things. Like, there are so many things in your life that you've just accepted as a certain way, even if you just broke it down. Like, it always seems dumb when you hear someone just like, oh, they sit on the sofa and they talk about what's wrong with their life. But no, actually, the reason that you go into these, like, deeper memories that you've locked in place and you don't think about is because sometimes you'll have something just framed entirely wrong. Like, if I really tried to give a personal example, there were things in my life where I'm like, well, this is definitely my fault. My actions resulted in, and it's like, well, actually, you yourself say that, like, well, clearly this person is like overworked, and they're probably actually just mad at, and you're like, oh yeah, well, actually, that sort of like revelation is with a close family member, with a relation, with anything like that, is a really important thing to have the moments where you realize what's really responsible for the negative thoughts that you feel, or the negative way you frame the world, because ultimately having a better outlook on life is important, and that is something you can hopefully get with BetterHelp. It's always worth a try getting therapy of any form, and I would recommend you use BetterHelp using the code down below to get the discount down below. Wouldn't you love that? Just like how you might love to treat someone you care about to the Minecraft Deluxe Edition, Deluxe Collection, which we'll talk about in a little bit, right after I just finish off the key thoughts on the Minecraft mob vote. I think that less is more is a really true thing for this. If Minecraft can have two, because again, like, if there's two tacit things in Minecraft, either they're designing these mobs fully and throwing away 2 of the designs, which sucks, or they're designing these mobs with community input in the form of votes. And I think that second one is much more appealing because it would show, like, yeah, we didn't know what the copper golem would do. This is a cute mob design we had. We thought he would hang around in we thought he'd be a player constructed mob, and you guys didn't like it, so we didn't put more thought into it. Instead, we put thought into what might happen with the glare. Wow, the glare could, as well as, being a mob that goes towards dark spots in caves, the glare could be a mob that when killed drops a light source. So that even though you'd rather have him alive, if you desperately needed to kill him and get your hands on one of these rare new lights, then that is something you'd be able to do. You know, there'd be, do you want to kill this guy or use him? That'd be an interesting discussion. Whereas the alley, instead of saying he's got a mob drop particularly, you could say, well, the alley spawns in a place where this chest is found nearby, and you could give these sorts of details that would really flesh out the mobs, and then people would know that you're designing this almost. I guess in that way you'd have either like people saying, well, did you design this in 15 minutes, or did you have versions ready for each of these? But you'd hope that as you went further and further along, you'd get a better and better look. But I think ultimately the key thing they need to work out is what is definitely guaranteed about this mob, and can we communicate all of that to the players, and then can we make sure there's a similar amount available for each of the mobs. That, in my opinion, is important. Just like how it might be fun to learn about the brand new Minecraft Deluxe Collection. And this, it's funny, this came out the same day as I tweeted, like, man, one of the things I miss about old Minecraft Console Edition, in particular is what I'm talking about. One of the things I miss is the days where, like, every December you knew something would come out. A lot of the times it'd be a brand new update. They would target December as a release time for updates because, you know, it's a good time for them to come out. But also, even at the bare minimum, it'd be like, here's the festive mashup pack. They'd have some piece of content that would come out, and there's a key difference between even the lowest level of those, which is just, here is a brand new world you can explore if you pay us money, versus the Minecraft Deluxe Collection, which, in case you're curious, like, it sounds so good, it sounds amazing, right? What the Deluxe Collection actually is it's Minecraft, which, you know, I like Minecraft, I'm a fan of Minecraft. It's Minecraft, but it comes with a bunch of add-ons as well. It's solely for people who haven't already bought Minecraft, so it's Minecraft, but it comes with 1,600 Minecoins, 5 maps pre-included, 5 persona items, that is character icons, 3 emotes, 3 skin packs, and 1 texture pack. The 1 texture pack feels a bit weird, but I guess it's like, you know, they're gonna try and provide the best texture pack, so you don't have to pick. You just have one that you can easily go into. And I think this deluxe collection is a really, I think it's a really fun art, and it's a really fun name for something. But it fundamentally misses how you excite people for Christmas, because, you know, their thinking, I'm sure, is like, well, it's the holidays. How do you get someone you love into Minecraft with this better than ever deluxe collection? But I think the thing they're misunderstanding is that people, fundamentally, by and large, do not like to spend money for a thing that is a holiday event. If this is the closest thing we have to a big event this year, I mean, you could argue they always do a Christmas sale. You could argue they released the brand new Minecraft Legend of Aang map, right? Or rather Avatar. Is it Avatar? Avatar Legends is what they called it, but it's not the James Cameron Avatar. It's the other Avatar. But they they did technically they made a brand new map as well, and also But the truth is they're missing the point of how hype is meant to be, which is that you shouldn't have to spend money to enjoy something, because then you're not launching something brand new like a holiday update. You're launching a holiday product. And even back in the console edition days, when it was just, here is this the festive mashup pack, there was the key crucial element was that you could experience that for free with a free trial. The free trial was really generous too. You could just go explore the whole thing, you just couldn't save it. And then crucially, you could make the decision to pay after you'd experienced the free piece. Whereas this is, here is a great piece of paid content, except it's not even paid content, it is if you buy Minecraft brand new. Even if I want to spend, $30, $40 on Minecraft, and I think that's a really good idea this Christmas, I already own Minecraft. I wouldn't do this. So it's a really specific, like, gift they're selling right here, and that's it. And maybe the Minecraft, maybe the new Minecraft DLC is enough there too. But I think every single Christmas is a key time because, as you look, it's Christmas season. I got my Santa hat, and I got lots of Christmas things around me. People have more time around this season. Their work finishes for the year, or they have time off of school, or there's so many different reasons, but people have more free time in this part of the year than they have anywhere else. There's a glut of free time around, and you want people to spend that on your game. I know you want their money more than you want their time, Minecraft. It's fine. We can admit that as corporations. Like, yes, this is true. The way it shouldn't be a controversial thing to say we want to sell things more than we want people to have things for free. But you also need to recognize as a game that you thrive when people just play the game and casually reference it to their friends and say, oh yeah, you want to get back into Minecraft? Because then those friends get into the game, and maybe it's a network effect that grows that way. But also, the very same things they sell in the deluxe pack, these brand new mine coins and skin, they don't even announce it very well. It's just a really cool art, by the way. But all these brand new things that are coming, it's like if you want to sell more of those, you can bundle them for free or whatever, but you get people to play regular Minecraft, and then you try and convert them over to their, usually for free, right? I mean, it's really, really hard to say, here's something that's paid that you've never experienced before, trust us, it's real good. Instead, you could say, here are some free things, by the way, check them out. Or even better, here's a free trial. Or, you know those mine coins they're giving away with the deluxe edition? Give everyone for Christmas X number of mine coins. Just say, here are 500 coins, have at it. Because, as we all know, they take a cut of all sales on the marketplace anyway. So, you know, they would be able to take their cut. They could, you know, just reimburse creators for a certain amount of money spent with these coins. And then, whoa, what's that? Are people buying things? I mean, they've got the free coins. Why wouldn't they buy something? A lot of those things might even be Minecraft first-party stuff, by the way. So if you give someone 500 coins and they spend it right back on an emote that costs 500 from you, you just gave them a free emote. It cost you nothing because they're digital goods, and you got someone who went, ooh, I spent money and I got something that now I enjoy. Giving people this feedback loop is great, but also it's just the best gesture. Here are some free coins. Giving, you know, like free content out is just a great gesture if it's like a big event, because you want people to have this big experience to center around. Oh, have you played the Minecraft holiday map? Is way better than because they actually tried something like this before. They gave away 25 Christmas maps, one for every day of Christmas. And it's like, no, no one has time to play 25 different maps. What sort of person are you targeting here? I think some of them with skin packs, to be fair. But it's like, you want to, you know, rather than a quantity over quality message, which is what you're sending with, yeah, we can just give away 25 pieces of stuff. You say, here is a really great, amazing thing we made free. I think Frozen Planet was a good example of this. Here's an amazing thing we're giving away for free as a Christmas event, as a Christmas special. Or go a step better to tie this back into the mob vote. Something they did with this year's mob vote that was amazing is they had a server you could join specifically to vote for the mobs. It was a really great, I think it was a great little thing, but personally, that's how I feel. And so, even though that's so I personally thought it was really great to see this, like, to see this one big thing. And so what if we had a version of that, like a holiday server, where you could play some silly mini games that Minecraft set up, or, you know, you could explore the, you know, meaning of Christmas. That's probably not on brand for Minecraft. Maybe you could explore Stockholm. Maybe you could explore the Mojang offices, or, you know, you could have some stuff like this to get people in that Minecraft spirit and give it away as a, like, I think that's what they need to do in lieu of an update. But I think ultimately we'd be better off just receiving, here is a cool Christmas update. As we all know, Java has those fun Christmas chests every Christmas. Just do something like that even. Like, have the small gesture that makes people go, oh, it's the Christmas, but with Minecraft. Whereas what we have right now is, yeah, it's Christmas, that's money-making season, and it kind of like, there's always this like at odds message that you almost kind of see there, where like Minecraft's like, we're a very, we value these super progressive things, but accept money where we want it all the time. And it's like, that's, you know, it's, you know, I guess you could argue that's like, that's just meshing lib and left viewpoints in the way that many corporations do, because they know that, like, well, we want the money, but a certain proportion of our fan base also want these things if they're going to part of their money. Maybe that's the whole logic there. Maybe it's just the increasing politicization of the corporate world to the point where we all need, you know, what? Why would you not be selling something? You know, like everything has like a cynical value attached to it. But I also just think, like, yeah, well, Christmas, you don't say that bit out loud with Christmas. You say with Christmas, this is the season to be hanging out. This is the season to be enjoying yourself. This is a hard season, even maybe you could go with. But instead we have the message of, it's the season, and that means we're selling you things. Do you want to buy them? Trick question, you are buying them. And, you know, I benefited personally. My map sold more copies during this last few weeks of whatever sale was going on. But doesn't mean that I think the overall strategy is correct. I think it's sometimes it's hard to see the conflict between personal interest and the overall thing. That is something here on YouTube I get a lot. Like, so when it comes to sponsors, right, I have this clear like line of like you're not gonna you can't make me say certain words. And also there are certain sponsors I'll just never take. I've had quite a few that I've mentioned before, like when it comes to maybe being called a laird in Scotland, perhaps. There's also a fun one regarding don't invest in stable investments. Have you considered buying whiskey instead? I was like, oh no, why are you doing this to people? And why are people accepting money to tell their fans to make bad investments? But it is a thing. It is a thing that's happening. And so yeah, that's don't, I guess, is my thing there. But also it's clear to say that, like, yeah, having a set of like lines under your commercial rules is also, I think it actually makes sense for like every business by itself. It's like, well, everyone should look at Minecraft and say, they're a company that value these things. Because when you're for something, it's important to be for it when it's difficult as well as when it's easy. And that's why I will never tell you about how much of a laird I am, and how I'll never do one of those reads even when they... And yeah, so that's... But I do want to mention, though, that the reason I picked BetterHelp is because they just said, like, yeah, make sure you do something... It's very important to... it's incredibly important to... get your hands on something. Yeah, therapy is important, is what I'm saying here, and it's really, really important to like just get the message out there, because they are a service that benefits when more people know that therapy is great. And personally, I think that's wonderful. That's why BetterHelp's it, and the reason that like the online version works in particular is because you don't have to deal with waiting rooms. You don't have to deal with all these different points, and you can learn more, and you can save 10% off if you go to betterhelp.com/mine. Link down below. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Deep in the Mine, because I'm gonna see you for the next one in the next week. It's the fun December season, and I hope that you have a good one, because yeah, I think the Minecraft mob vote is something they should look at. I think everything that you want, like every January people get into this feeling. Every January is when you go, here's what I'm doing for the year. Work out what you're going to start doing in January now. Have like a plan, and that way you can follow it rather than having vague goals that you break in the first week of the year. And yeah, it's been something I've been out of because of the last few years of who knows what. But it's something I'm going to get better and back into. And I look forward to doing that with all of you soon. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week for Deep in the Mine. Goodbye.